Vous êtes au cinéma et sur l'écran, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Frank Sinatra, dans La femme en ciment, réalisé par Gordon Douglas. Ça se passe à Miami. Et sur la plage, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? La somptueuse Raquel Welch. Le deuxième film, un film de politique fiction, toujours avec Frank Sinatra, Un crime dans la tête de John Frankenheimer. Ils vont essayer d'assassiner le président des États-Unis.
Jeudi 20h45 pour la dernière séance, Sinatra 2 fois sur France 3. Le grand jour approche.
Je trouve que c'est lent.
Je vous déclare unis par les liens du mariage.
Pour la vie, Émilie s'unit à Ovilla.
Mais je ne regrette rien.
Mais elle doit quitter à jamais ce métier qu'elle adore pour accéder à son destin de femme. Mardi 20h45, Émilie, la passion d'une vie, à suivre passionnément sur France 3.
Bonsoir, bienvenue à Continental, bienvenue surtout ici à Monte-Carlo où toute l'équipe de Continental est venue pour ce 33e festival de la télévision. Vous avez peut-être vu ce matin, on a parlé des compétitions ici, on a parlé aussi du marché qui est très important pour le festival de télévision. Le soir, on enregistre les journaux comme d'habitude, on a même apporté les paraboles et les traducteurs avec nous, donc vous allez voir les mêmes journaux que d'habitude, mais avec des journalistes de renommée. Tout à l'heure, je vais recevoir Gianpaolo Sodano, qui est directeur général de la Rai 2, qui va lui donner son point de vue sur la façon dont les différentes chaînes qu'on a enregistrées ce soir à Monte-Carlo ont traité l'information. On commence comme d'habitude avec Sky News.
Two British mercenaries have been kidnapped, tortured and executed in Bosnia. The men were taken from their flat in the town of Travnik, just 6 miles away from the British Blue Beret base at Vitez, and shot in the head. They've been named locally as Ted Skinner and Derek Arnold. Tonight, Sky News has been told that 3 other British mercenaries have died in the last 3 weeks. Their bodies in morgues in Mostar and Split have not yet been identified.
The 2 British mercenaries were found 3 days ago, shot in the head at close range, after having been tied to a stake and tortured. The men, both former British servicemen, had been training Muslim forces near the central Bosnian village of Turbe. It appears Muslim extremists, calling themselves Mujahideen, or Warriors of God, had taken them from their flat in the village. Several hundred Mujahideen are known to have moved to the region in recent weeks. The Serbs have released photographs purportedly of Mujahideen and accused them of having carried out atrocities. UN sources have told Sky News that Croat forces have informed them of the death of 3 other mercenaries, all reportedly British. 2 were brought into the morgue in Mostar, while the other was found dead in a stone quarry west of the Croatian port of Split. All 3 have yet to be identified. Hundreds of foreign mercenaries, including many from Britain, rushed to Croatia at the beginning of the war with the Serbs in 1991. Some came for ideological reasons, most for the money or the excitement, and at least half a dozen were killed in 1991. When the war spread to Bosnia, many left, but some stayed to help the outgone Muslim-led Bosnian government forces. Anna van Linden, Sky News, Split in Croatia.
A presidential pardon to free the 2 Britons jailed in Baghdad could be one step closer tonight. Diplomats in the city say there's a rumour sweeping the men's jail that Saddam Hussein will free everyone convicted of illegally entering the country. Paul Ryde's wife and baby son arrived in the capital earlier today. They've travelled to Baghdad with Michael Wainwright's mother and sister to press for the men's freedom.
A tired but hopeful group have arrived in Baghdad on a mission to bring their relatives home. After a 12-hour journey by road from Amman into the Iraqi capital, the families of Paul Ryde and Michael Wainwright definitely look worse for wear, and Julie Ryde was in no mood for interviews.
Will you please go away? You've had a hard journey.
Paul Ryde, a catering manager from East London, was jailed for 7 years last summer after straying across the border from Kuwait into Iraq. Michael Wainwright is serving a 10-year sentence for illegally entering Iraq during a cycle tour. His mother Iris and sister Heather have travelled from West Yorkshire to see him for the first time in 18 months. The trip's been organised by the British Red Cross, and they're still hopeful of bringing the two men home.
We have to just get into the prison and let them see the two men. I mean, that's the first thing. And then we have to have meetings and find out what the Iraq government's views are for the future of the two men. Then we can talk.
One point for optimism centres on recent comments made by Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister Tariq Aziz that the Britons might be freed if London releases millions of dollars in Iraqi assets, frozen during the Gulf War. Whatever the outcome, the families will be reunited for the next 3 days at least. Kay Oliver, Sky News.
C'était Sky News enregistré tout à l'heure ici à Monaco. Je suis avec Steve Salmon, qui est rédacteur en chef de l'actualité étrangère à la BBC télévision et aussi radio. Je voulais savoir, Mr. Salmon, we're going to speak English, right? I'll try and translate. Is Sky News a competitor for you? Sky News sont des concurrents pour vous? Parce que c'est une chaîne indépendante.
Yes, we work in competition with Sky News.
Donc c'est en concurrence.
The BBC serves, of course, not only